Ati? I think we just lost you there. Ati? Ati, your mic's on mute.
Sorry, man. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, man. Coach, I was saying that considering that there was earlier on in the URC, the team wasn't performing well in the local derbies, and there was some sort of mental block when playing these local derbies. Do you feel as if the guys have outgrown that, and how have you sort of again to approach this phase in terms of making sure the guys, are well, strong, physically and also mentally?
Yeah, I think last season, I think already proved that we can beat all these big games at home, especially at derbies. I think it's very important for us home games. We need to win the derbies, and even if you can just pick up bonus points away against those teams is also massive for us. But I think we're at that stage where we take every game that we want to win every game, because I think last season we don't want to be in that situation again where we leave it up to another team to win or to lose before we get into the top 8. We already, come to the end of the season. You already want to be in the top 8, and you want to secure that early on in the season. So for us, it's very important against the South African teams to perform well.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thanks, Takir.
Thanks, Ati.
Thanks, Ati. Ross? Ross, I think your mic's muted. There we go.
Yeah, I've got it. Thanks, Takir. How's it, guys? How's it,
Hello,
Coach?
Ross. Good on you, Ross.
Jacques, what sort of gone wrong or happened this season with Sanele Nahamba? URC player of the season last season, and he's barely played this season. He came off the bench against Ospreys, didn't play last week. Has there been anything wrong in terms of his form or play, or is he okay? What's going on there?
Yeah, I think we all know that the caliber of player Sanele is. I think since his father died, it's been a very difficult time for Sanele and how he's been dealing with it. So I think we all can see the way he's been playing on the field that he's not the old Sanele that we had last season. So for us at the Lions, we pride ourselves to pick the best team for every weekend so that we can win. So for us, and that's the standard that we set. We want to pick the strongest team for the weekend, every weekend, what's best for the team. So whatever is best for the team, we'll pick. Like I said, he did go through a very difficult time. And hopefully, he can get through that, and come out stronger at the end.
And do you think he is looking a bit better now and getting into it? Because, it would really help in that you've got two sort of relatively new guys in Cade or especially with Sam Francis, at fly half, and it would be nice to have a bit more settled help there.
Yeah, I think, again, we go back to, I think, the games that he's played. And, I mean, we all can agree you've got a certain standard that you need to. If you need to kick it out, you need to kick it out. If you need to pass well at 9 or wherever, you need to pass. So his basic skills weren't on standard. And for us, like I say, we pride ourselves towards that. We've got a lot of guys that's pushing in those positions. And we've got a system that we always, like I said, want to pick the strongest guys for the weekend. That's going to give us the best chance to win. I think he was off the last few games, if we have a look at his game. So he just needs to get back to the old Sanele that played last year again.
Wonderful. And, you guys, obviously it was a very long game against Powell, but disruptive. But obviously getting back to winning ways was very important after 3 straight losses. Now, the Stormers themselves have gone through a very tough patch. So how do you sort of kick on from Powell and try and, get what people might consider a bit of an upset win, especially with the Stormers getting players back and being well rested from leaving some guys at home?
Yeah, I think for us, it was important to get back to the Lions way, but how we want to play. Like I said earlier, the games that we played in Leinster and Munster and even Ospreys, the conditions that you play in, and I don't get me wrong, we don't use it as an excuse, but it is still something that as South African teams that we have to get used to, is to play a kicking game. Like we are the Lions, and we've got a certain brand that we want to play. For us, it's just to incorporate the kicking into that running style. Sometimes, you know, in certain areas of the field, if you're isolated, it's just to maybe put a kick in to put pressure back on them again. It's for us to get better at that and read the situations better. But for us, we want to get back to winning ways, the way that the Lions play, the way that we played the 2 games before we left overseas. And we showed a little bit of that again against Pau on Saturday. So that's the way that we want to play.
Thanks. And then just one for you, Juan. How have you enjoyed it this season, settling into the front row cauldron there? You've sort of joined up with PJ and Asanati quite nicely in sort of the starting front row. And have you enjoyed that? And are you settling in nicely and continuing to grow?
Yes, definitely, Ross. It's only been amazing from the start. We started with the Currie Cup. That was a bit disappointing, but that's now used as fuel for the URC and the EPCR. So scrumming with those guys, still young, vibrant, back in our own culture, it's amazing. And I enjoy every day here at the Lions with the coaching staff that's exceptional, world class. So it's a great environment to be in, and they look after us very well.
Thanks, sorry, and I'll sneak one more in. You might be coming up against quite a tough Stormers front row. Guys like Neekling, old heads like Brock, and possibly France. I'm not sure if he's been cleared or not. But is that quite a daunting thing, or is that something that really excites you to be able to face those type of guys?
Yes, it definitely excites us as a pack here at the Lions, because we want to test ourselves against the best, and we are looking forward to the opportunity this weekend.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ross. Jan, and then we'll come to Morgan.
Thanks, Jaque. Jaque, I think you spoke earlier about the Lions way and how you want to play, and you guys are getting back there. But coming down to Cape Town, I mean, obviously it's a different environment, especially the stadium. It's not Ellis Park. The air is different. The way you kick, the way you run and pass. Do you need to make adjustments, or what type of adjustments do you need to make, or can you just keep doing what you've been doing?
Yeah, I think for us it's also, you know, going Friday. I think the weather's probably going to be 31 degrees. There is probably going to be wind. So for us, it's just getting there on Friday and feeling out the conditions. Like I said, we're not going to vary from what we are. We want to run the ball and play in the right areas of the field if the opportunity presents itself on the backfield. But nothing's going to change for us. Hopefully it will be a nice sunny day on Saturday. And I mean, last year that we played, the last game that we played last year, I think there were also glimpses of the way that we played and the way that we can play in those conditions.
And Juan, one from the players' perspective, obviously these derbies are, regardless of what players or what teams are on the field, these derbies are always brutal. I mean, the Lions are a packet that enjoy an expensive game. Are you guys prepared for getting into an arm wrestle with the Stormers?
Yes, definitely. We know the Stormers at home ground, they're going to want to prove a point, especially with the last few games that's been upsetting to them. And so do we. We want to fight. It's a local derby as well. And we know their line speed in defense. We know about their speed in the back row, tussle up front. So it's going to be a proper test for both teams, and especially with the weather, but also the fans. Everyone's on holiday. So it's going to be a great day and great opportunity.
Thanks, guys. Dankie.
Thanks, Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Thanks, Jan. Morgan? Morgan? I think you're still on mute. I think while we wait for Morgan, is anybody else with questions?
Yeah, I'll jump back in.
Sure, Ross, go for it.
Thanks, Jacques. Ivan mentioned after the past weekend, sort of that you guys had some, you were trying to sort of improve the defensive side of the game. I think since Leinster, you guys have either conceded 4 tries. I think you conceded 3 against Munster, but otherwise it's been 4 tries or more in all the games you've played, including against Pau. Have you guys was that sort of just, tough conditions away that you were sort of letting through a few more tries than you guys usually do? Because usually your defense is pretty on point. And how has that been evolving then since then in trying to reach your goals?
Yeah, I think not to make excuses, but it has been, the last few games has been very disappointing. To leak in 4 tries, if you have a look at the game against Leinster, it was still a very tight up until the last probably five minutes, where they scored a penalty try and another try that we leaked in against Munster. It's been just certain individual errors that's cost us a little bit, especially the discipline has been costing us a lot, especially at teams like Leinster, Munster, even Pau. If you give them any penalty opportunities, they're going to kick to the corner, they're going to maul, they're going to score tries. So it has been disappointing. It has been something that we've worked on, and believe me, hopefully this weekend we can turn it around and concede less than 1 or 2 tries again and get back to a solid defensive side again.
And is that sort of something you've obviously focused on big time with the Stormers because of their very unpredictable play? Got quite a few Mavericks in the group that can spark attacks from anywhere. And so has that been a big focus point?
Yeah, it has been a big focus point, especially with us in our attack. You don't want to give them any opportunity to counter-attack. They've got a dangerous back three, even if all of their backline plays is dangerous when it gets unstructured. So we want to keep them in a structured attack, because as soon as you give them any opportunity to counter-attack, to launch kicks against you, then anything can happen. Then it's a 50-50, and that's when they spark. So for us, it's keeping them structured, and then just have a solid defense line and keep knocking them back over and over again and getting the ball back.
Thanks. And then just lastly from my side, obviously now after the Stormers, you give the guys a bit of time off before getting back together for the EPCR games in January and then back into the URC. How do you sort of get them to manage this time after the Stormers to make sure, that they are sharp and ready for heading over to Montpellier?
I think it's been I'm saying now it's been a long season, but it has been, the first half of the season has been long. I think we've been managing the guys quite well, at training when we got back, even the week from Pau, where we had one training, the guys that came back earlier had a good week's training before, when the guys joined. So I think we're handling that quite well. I think the break that's coming now, it's coming at the right time, especially over Christmas and New Year. It's quite a weird time for us as players and coaches, because most of the people on holiday already last week, and you can see everyone's in holiday mode, but we're still in work mode. So for us, I think the focus is we've got one more game against the Stormers that we want to win, and then after that we can get the guys can get 10 days off just to recover and relax, and then we'll come back and we'll prepare for Montpellier again.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Ross.
Thanks very much.
Let's try Morgan again. Morgan, want to give it a try? I think Morgan is still struggling on his side. Gentlemen, is there anyone else before we end this? Okay, there we go. Jan.
Yeah,
We'll
so
go
now,
Jan, and then we'll
quickly, I
look
just
at the
want to
session.
check quickly. Are you going to share the video with us on the group, or how do we get about getting it?
I've got video and we've got audio that will be shared.
Awesome. Super. That's all I need to know. Thanks,
No
guys.
problem. Thank you. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks all.
Sterkte.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.